If Jay happens to join us in the meeting, that'll be fine. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Baginski. I'm the current president of the Rotary Club in Nordonia Hills. Thanks for joining us. John, could you give us an invocation, please?
Sure. Let's be in a humble spirit of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this ability to meet electronically. We ask blessings for our club, blessings for the elected officials, for the officials that are running our elections. We pray that it goes safely and that you give us wisdom. Give us the strength, dear God, to do your will. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
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 Thank you, John. Debbie, if you could pull up a flag for us and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
United States of America,
to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and
liberty,
justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. All right, so we have a lot of guests here today. Let's see if I rattle them off here and hopefully I don't forget anybody. We have Sandra Kurt. Thanks for joining us, Sandra.
Of course.
Mike Razor, I'm sorry. We have Shane Barker, Kandy Fatheree, and Kristen Scalise joining us today. They're all running for office. Thanks. And if I missed anybody, please let me know right now. Okay, and we also have a few people join us, Raina Madar and Susan Belt. Thanks for joining us. And I just saw Vinny join us too. Thanks for joining us, Vinny.
My pleasure.
And I believe I saw LaMonica. LaMonica. Thanks.
Thank you.
If I'm missing anybody, if I missed anybody, please announce your presence. Looks like I checked everybody off then. Great. I'm going to do just a real quick day in history today so we can keep things moving. One of the most interesting things that I thought was interesting today in history was U.S. President Ronald Reagan decides to tear down a U.S. embassy in Moscow because it was discovered there was listening devices that were built right into the building. So it's a brand new building and he had them tear it down. One of the biggest things that happened, though, the United States and the Soviet Union stepped back from the brink of nuclear war when the Cuban Missile Crisis was going on. They both decided to pull, the U.S. pulled missiles out of Turkey, and Russia said they would pull their missiles out of Cuba. So that was a pretty dark day. In sports, the Red Sox won their first World Championship in 2004, October 27th. First championship since 1918. That's what I have today in history. As far as our Rotarians go, we do have a birthday coming up. Laura Sperano, October 30th is her birthday. Happy birthday, Laura. And we have a big anniversary, Robin and Marilyn Baginski. Their anniversary is actually today, October 27th, 64 years they've been married. Congratulations to Robin and Marilyn. A little partial to that since they are my parents. And we do have a Rotarian that's a year anniversary, Rhonda Solomon. That's her 1 year anniversary as a Rotarian of the Rotary Club in Nordonia Hills. So thank you, Rhonda. Can we have a quick joke, Dr. Conkle? Oh, is Dr. Conkle even here today?
No,
No, he's not. Okay, well, good. Then we're going to move right on to our candidates, Dave. Can you please introduce them?
Okay, candidates, I'm David Fike. I am the host for the candidates that are coming to speak to us today. We do have 3 categories: the Summit County Clerk of Courts, Summit County Sheriff, and Summit County Fiscal Officer. We have 5 candidates to speak to us, so I'm requesting, and I will be timing 5 minutes. Normally I would stand up, but since we're on a Zoom meeting, I'll let you know you have 1 minute to close before I pull the hook out and unplug you. We're going to be starting off with the Summit County Clerk of Courts, and I'm going alphabetical order. So we have 2 candidates running. The incumbent is Sandra Kurt, and the other candidate is Mike Rasor. And Sandra, we're going to start with you if you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me to speak with you today about my candidacy. A well-informed electorate is imperative for a functional democracy, and I appreciate your commitment to being informed voters. I've been serving as your Clerk of Courts for 5 years, and I humbly ask you to rehire me for another term. This is essentially a job interview, so let me remind you of what you hired me to do. The Clerk of Courts is an administrative job, managing staff and operations in 2 divisions, the legal division at the courthouse here in Akron, and the title division in our 4 title offices throughout the county. I also have staff who serve on the Summit County Board of Revision. I manage 75 staff spread across those 5 locations from Northfield to Green. My offices take in a combined total of $144 million each year, and I manage a $7 million annual operating budget. Clearly, when handling this much money, the clerk must be above reproach, and I am that clerk. As clerk, I work with 17 judges in 3 different courts. I also serve on the Summit County Board of Information, the Summit County Office of Information Technology Board, with the other charter offices. My work at the courthouse includes interactions with the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's department, and you may recall that I served for 5 years on Summit County Council as an at-large council person. That experience allowed me to develop positive professional working relationships with all of these title offices. And those relationships allowed me to hit the ground running. I have maintained these positive relationships, which add to my effectiveness, especially this year, as we've all had to be very flexible due to the restrictions and changing conditions due to the pandemic. On the legal side of the operations, I've used my industrial engineering expertise to take a paper-based process to a completely electronic process. Summit County is unique in that we developed our system with consultants. We didn't buy it off the shelf. I hear all the time from attorneys that practice in multiple counties that they really like our system best. It's easy to learn and easy to use. I'm really glad that we developed our own system because with some of the ones that you buy off the shelf, the vendor owns the data, and I'm not about to let anybody else own your data. After we went completely electronic, attorneys expressed a little frustration that they couldn't file in the courthouse anymore across the counter. So since they were required to file electronically, I provided 2 computers for them to use, one at the attorney's lounge in the domestic relations building, and one over at the law library at the courthouse. That way they could use their time at the courthouse productively. We completed our modernization to all electronic filing about 2 years ago. When COVID hit earlier this year, we were able to continue serving our public and our customers seamlessly without interruption, even if the attorneys were working from home. When I became clerk, we were paying a fair amount of overtime to our accounting staff. And again, my industrial engineering experience came into play. We upgraded our accounting software, and now we don't have to pay any overtime. That saves you money now, and it saves you money in the future. On the title side of the operations, we process automobile titles, boat titles, and passport applications, along with taking passport photos. As an aside, if you ever need passport photos, we only charge $6, and any place else you go is going to charge you double that. Because we're not trying to make a profit, we're just trying to provide a service. I have added weekend and evening hours to our title offices so that busy people like you can get your work done when it's convenient for you. Part of our responsibility includes managing the title fund. By attracting title business from surrounding counties, we have grown the title fund to a point where in every year's operating budget, we give at least $1 million back to the county general fund. This helps fund the prosecutor's office and the sheriff's department, including the jail. In fact, I provided Summit County General Fund with $2.4 million so that Summit County wouldn't have to borrow this money. That saved you taxes and it saved you interest and fees of $600,000.
4 minutes.
Thank you. I believe that a good elected official is a good community partner as well as doing their job well. That's why when the opiate crisis hit, I teamed up with the Summit County Community Partnership that provides the free drug disposal bags. Up to 64% of drugs that are abused come from families and friends' medicine cabinets. But with these drug disposal bags, you can eliminate those drugs safely and conveniently. These bags are always available at all of our lobbies anytime for free. So you don't have to come down into Akron. You can go to your nearest title bureau and get those. To sum up, I have served responsibly as your clerk for 5 years, using my industrial engineering experience to improve operations, make it easier for you to get your work done with us, and to save you money. I have earned your trust, and I humbly ask for your vote when you complete your ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. The other candidate running for Summit County Clerk of Courts is Mike Rasor. Mike?
Thank you, David. Thank you to the Nordonia Hills Rotary Club. This is a great pleasure to get to speak with you folks. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I am the husband to Laura, who's been my wife for 5 years. I have 2 little daughters. Selah is 3, Chrissy is 9 months, and this close to walking, which will make our lives a lot harder. I grew up in Northeast Ohio in Summit County, Stowe to be specific. I went to Stowe High School, went to the University of Akron for undergrad, wanted to be a sports writer. When I saw that the journalism industry was sort of going the wrong direction, went to law school at the University of Akron. I graduated at the top of my class and was blessed to find a job at a business law firm in downtown Cleveland. I became a partner at Cavich, Famelo and Durkin before I turned 30. I was the youngest partner ever in the firm's 130-year history. I practice business law. I help privately held companies grow, expand, do some real estate, venture capital, private equity, some litigation, and I really love my job. But I also really love public service. And that's why when I was still in law school, I ran for city council in Stowe. At this point, between my second and third year of law school, I was the editor-in-chief of the Law Review, a candidate for city council in Stowe, which has 35,000 people, and trying to finish my studies. So I was very busy, but I won my first ever campaign as a 24-year-old and went on to serve for 10 full years in city council in Stowe. The reason I ran in Stowe was I was mad at the way they were spending our tax dollars. And, after 10 years, it was mission accomplished. We balanced our budget without raising taxes, and we cut our city debt load by 50%. If you ask any folks who live down by me, they're going to be pretty happy with the services we provide and the taxes that we charge for it. Why I'm running for Clerk of Courts. I'm looking for my next challenge to be engaged in public service. As much as I enjoy practicing law and making a good living doing so, public service has always called me. I've always felt that a career of practicing law for 50 years, while perhaps fulfilling in some ways, probably wouldn't do it for me. I want to be someone who serves my generation. And why this office specifically? I believe this office, it requires an experienced attorney, and that's somebody who has leadership experience. Everywhere I've gone, I've ascended to leadership. I'm not saying it's a boast, it's just an objective fact. And I believe it's because I work hard and because I'm thoughtful and I care about people. I think that I can bring some improvement to the clerk's office in that regard. Think about the people who also, from the customer side of things, think about where you are when you enter the court system. Usually you're in a dark period of your life. It's because of a death, divorce, an unpaid debt. I think that our clerk's office could be more friendly, more welcoming, and more humble. And that's an attitude I'm going to instill in employees. Also an attention to detail, because when mistakes are made in the clerk's office, it can have, pretty big impact on people's lives. So I think we can do better. We're looking forward to the future of what I would do in office. I think that COVID-19 is going to dent every government office, not just this year when federal funds are flowing through, but probably in 2021. I'm hoping to lead a statewide movement for clerk's offices to use the same filing software, the same data storage platform. And the purpose is, why should there be 88 counties with 88 different pieces of expensive software? Think about that. Does that help the people? No, but if you can divert those funds into public safety or infrastructure, that does help the people. So I'm always approaching government in a very pragmatic way.
4 minutes.
And I think there's some ways we can do things better. Thank you. I'm I'm blessed to be to have the opportunity to be on the ballot in the greatest country in the world, where people get to decide their leaders. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk to you, and I would ask for your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. At this time, we're going to open it up to the floor for 2 questions. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to answer the question. And I'm opening it up to the floor. Anybody out there would like to ask a question? Reminder, your mute buttons are on, so if you're talking, we aren't hearing you. Not hearing any questions. I would like to thank both candidates for speaking to us, and we're going to move forward. And our next office is going to be Summit County Sheriff. We have 2 candidates running. The incumbent is Shane Barker, and running against Shane is Kandy Fatheree. Shane, if you'd like to begin.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. And actually, I'm not the incumbent. I'm running for an open seat. The current sheriff is retired. I hope to be the incumbent in 4 years.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
No problem at all. No problem at all. I just wanted to clear that up because we're both seeking the open seat. Okay, so I live in Macedonia. As most of you probably know, I'm a local guy from up here. Spent 9 years on city council. During that time, I proved myself to work across the aisle. We got tremendous things done. We purchased a ladder truck. We got Valley View Road paved. We built 2 bridges, and I spent 9.5 years doing that, proving I could walk, go across the aisle and get things done, get things accomplished for the betterment of my community. I retired from the sheriff's office last August, having achieved the rank of captain. I retired specifically so that I could run for this office. Spent the last year meeting as many people as I can in Summit County, getting as many endorsements as I can from people in Summit County and throughout the state, including most recently from the governor. The current sheriff has endorsed me. During my time at the sheriff's office for 25 years, I worked the streets for many years in multiple different ranks. I worked as a deputy, a sergeant, and a lieutenant. I worked in the jail as a deputy, a sergeant, lieutenant, and then finally a captain, an administrative role in the jail. During my time in the jail, we made many improvements. We added biometric control for our keys, which is a state thing. You have to have a good key control system in the jail. We added over 250 cameras with HD video and audio because we were having problems of not seeing things that were occurring in the jail because we're so understaffed because the jail is designed for direct supervision. So we put these cameras throughout the jail that I oversaw getting done. We brought in a new jail management system. We put the deputies, we currently have deputy sheriffs that work in the jail. We put them on 12-hour shifts as opposed to the 3 8-hour shifts that we were using for decades before. I oversaw that. I oversaw the Glenwood Jail. We decided to shut down Glenwood Jail and bring that deputy staff, bring those inmates back to the Summit County Jail. I did that while I was administrative captain there. All those things that I talked about were done because of the Jail Oversight Advisory Commission that I was a member of. And the commission came out with these recommendations. And before I retired, I saw almost all of those recommendations that were completed that I oversaw that we got done. The main one we didn't get done because we didn't want to do it. The sheriff didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because we didn't change the personnel from deputy sheriffs to corrections officers. It's good to have deputy sheriffs in the jail because when something bad happens on the street, be it tornado, public unrest, or another agency just needs help, we can send deputies out. That's a very unique thing in Summit County. So all the agencies that surround us have benefited from that. We can send the deputies out to help those agencies. During my campaign, I've been lucky enough to secure the endorsement of the current sheriff, Steve Barry, who's a Democrat. I'm running as a Republican. For him to cross the aisle, I know he's been getting beat up about it. I've been getting grief about it, but he thinks I'm the best candidate for the job. I really appreciate that, and I expect to live up to that. The governor has recently endorsed me. I also got the endorsement of Mayor Nugent of the city of Greene. That's important because the sheriff's office, we provide policing services to the city of Greene. The city of Greene is over 25,000 people, and we are their police department, which makes the office of the sheriff the de facto chief of police. So Mayor Nugent, who knows both candidates, has decided to endorse me to be his de facto chief of police in the city of Greene. I also have the endorsement of Trustee Busher up in Northfield Center Township. We also provide the policing services for. Like Sandra, I served on the IT commission, so I got to know a lot of the county people, and we got things done. Partisan politics really didn't have a place in it in the county, and I expect to keep it that way. I expect to do that as sheriff. I can walk across, I can talk, I can walk across the aisle and talk to anybody with anything that they may want to get done. I'm willing to do that for them. So I would ask that November 3rd or during your early voting to remember me for sheriff. Thank you.
4 minutes.
That's all I have written down.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it. And our next candidate is Kandy Fatheree. Kandy? If you're one of the telephone numbers, you're still on mute. There you go.
Yes, thank you. I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak with you today. My name's Kandy Fatheree, and I am running for Summit County Sheriff. A little bit about me. I've been married for 26 years to Don Fatheree. We have a blended family. I have one daughter, he has two. So he's surrounded by nothing but women. We have six grandchildren between us. And he's now retired, but I am still working at the sheriff's office. I'm a captain. I have worked as a deputy sergeant and a lieutenant in the jail as a shift commander, having left there. I've also worked as a deputy on patrol, and in our court system, the court security and civil process, I have been a deputy sergeant, lieutenant, and captain. And for 3 years after I was promoted to captain, I also supervised and oversaw the Summit County Sheriff's Budget and Finance Division regarding all of our contracts and all of our all the money with the Sheriff's Office itself. A few things about me personally. I started preparing to become the sheriff back in 2008 when after I was accepted at the FBI National Academy for Executive Leadership. They had done the background on me, the FBI did. Took them 2 years before they were finished, and I was accepted. And this is an elite program that only 1% of law enforcement worldwide are able to attend. I spent 10 weeks in Quantico, Virginia, where we took training for leadership and to run organizations such as for police chiefs and for sheriffs. In addition to that, physical fitness requirements are a major portion of that as well. So for 10 weeks, I ran on the Quantico's Marine Corps base, finishing with what's called the Yellow Brick Road, which means that I ran 6.2 miles, and I did the same obstacle course that the 18-year-old young Marines do. That was quite an experience. In addition, I just completed my criminal justice associate's degree, taking advantage of going back to college at the age of 62 and becoming more prepared with the current conditions of what's going on in our country and around the world. Some things that I want to do with the sheriff's office itself as your sheriff, I plan on having a professional jail administrator run our jail. We've had some problems with suicides and some other deaths that have occurred over the years. And I feel that although we do an excellent job, I think that additional training and critical incident training and de-escalation training will be critical for law enforcement moving forward. So I have a plan to address training in our jail as well as for all of those deputies that are out on patrol and in our civil division as well as our court. I realize that the opioid crisis has affected all families. It's affected mine as well. And I believe that between opioids and mentally ill, we deal with a lot of that in our jail and on our streets. So I have a plan to address that from a community level, starting within our jail and moving outward.
4 minutes.
The other thing that I feel that is really critical that we deal with is our sheriff's office needs to be a little bit more diverse than it is. We need to have fair, equitable opportunities for hiring, training, and promoting. And so I have already reached out to the Nepali community, and we are actively working on getting a more diverse employment opportunities so that we better reflect the communities that we serve. So as your sheriff, I have a lot of plans, and I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Kandy. At this time, we're going to open it up to the floor for the 2 questions that nobody asked at the last round. So, Kenneth, you have 30 seconds to respond. I'll start with Shane first. Are there any questions?
Dave, I have one. Given everything going on in society right now with race relations, what would you guys do to improve race relations with the Sheriff's Department and minorities?
Thank you for the question. That's a great question. What's going on today? I'm watching stuff in Philadelphia evolve right now. In my first 100 days of office, I'm going to create a office of recruitment and community outreach. The recruitment is going to be a side where we recruit a diverse people from a diverse background. When I worked in the Jail Advisory Commission, I knew that having a diverse background helped. So I will also bring in a citizen review board that is going to reflect the makeup of the community, and they will look at all of our policies and procedures. They'll look at our use of force issues. They will advise me. They're serving as an advisory role. I'll meet with them at least quarterly, if not monthly, and they'll advise me on all roles and aspects of the sheriff's office. So that I'll reach out to the community leaders, the religious leaders, and ask if they will serve on this board for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Kandy, your response?
Well, I've already started at working with a diverse community as far as looking at our hiring and employment status. But in addition, I'm endorsed by the Black elected officials, and I've already met with many of the pastors and have already started talking about some programs where our Black community, our pastors and the elected officials will be working with me to not only improve diversity within the sheriff's office, but also to help to train our officers what it might feel like if you are a Black person pulled over by a deputy sheriff or a law enforcement officer. I don't think that we always understand their perspective, and I think that talking with the pastors, they've already agreed to work with me moving forward. So I have already been out in the Black community, mostly in the city of Akron, and we have already started this conversation. So they're going to help train our people. They're going to help to recruit as well.
Thank you, Kandy. Next question. Okay, hearing no questions, I'd like to thank the Summit County Sheriff candidates, Shane Barker and Kandy Fatheree, for coming to speak to us. And we're going to move on to the Summit County Fiscal Office. I haven't seen Jay Iula. Are you out there? Okay. Jay is one candidate running, and the other candidate and incumbent is Kristen Scalise. Scalise, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today. I'm Kristen Scalise, your Summit County Fiscal Officer. I've been the Fiscal Officer for over 9 years. Prior to becoming the Fiscal Officer, I was the Chief Deputy Fiscal Officer for over 11 years. I'm a proud graduate of the University of Akron with a degree in accounting. I'm a CPA, as well as a certified fraud examiner. As your Fiscal Officer, I serve you as your county auditor, county treasurer, and county recorder. I am the only person in the entire state of Ohio to serve in all three capacities. I oversee a budget of nearly $18.6 million and manage a staff of over 150 employees. One of my most important responsibilities is safeguarding your taxpayer dollars. And as a certified fraud examiner, not only am I trained to investigate fraud, but more importantly, to prevent it. And the fiscal office is the main depository for the entire county. And we process over $1 billion with a B, dollars annually. I have put in place policies, procedures, and internal controls so that we balance to the penny on a daily basis. We don't wait until the end of the month to reconcile. We reconcile every single day. I am also responsible for investing the county's money, and I oversee a portfolio of over $275 million. Since taking office, I have implemented many programs that I am very proud of, and I'd like to share a few of those. I was one of the first in the state of Ohio to introduce the Veterans Identification Program. This is where a veteran can record their DD-214, and for $1, we will issue them an identification card. They can then use this ID card out in the public to prove their service and not have to carry around their very important DD-214. However, if the DD-214 is ever lost or damaged, they can retrieve a certified copy from my office. To date, we have issued over 8,000 veteran identification cards. I also introduced some of the strictest regulations in the state of Ohio to protect the owners of unclaimed funds from scams and predatory third parties, and initiated my Unclaimed Funds program. My employees actively search for owners of unclaimed funds, and we created a searchable database on my website where anyone can search their name, family members' names, friends, etc. And if you find you have unclaimed funds, you can fill out the claim form and work directly with my office. You do not need third-party representation, nor do you need an attorney. And to date, I have returned over $1.3 million to the citizens of Summit County. An interesting fact, the state of Ohio is one of only 3 states that does not permit fuel quality testing. Ohio, Nebraska, and Alaska do not permit it. However, since we are a charter form of government, we passed legislation creating the fuel quality program. And my office tests gasoline to ensure that you are receiving clean fuel without no sediments, no additives, no water. We also test to ensure you are receiving the octane level you are purchasing. So Summit County is the best place in Ohio to purchase your gasoline. I also began my high delinquency initiative. And one of the first properties that I went after is the Bedford anodizing property in Macedonia. I began the foreclosure process in 2011. At the time, it was one of the most delinquent properties in all of Summit County, owing over $2.3 million. It took many years to deal with this property due to the owner filing bankruptcies and the many EPA issues. However, I'm very happy to say that the property, which is over 22 acres, has been cleaned up and should transfer to a private developer by the end of this year. I am very proud of my office, of my staff, of the programs we offer and the services we provide. If you would like to know more about me, please visit voteforscalise.com or follow me on Facebook or Twitter. Again, thank you for having me today, and I respectfully ask for your vote this election cycle up to and including November 3rd. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Christine. Does anybody out there have any questions?
I do, if no one else does. How does the unclaimed funds work at the county level? I know that we apply to the state, but I didn't realize that there was an intermediate step that we could go at the county level to try to retrieve unclaimed funds.
Actually, there are 2 different sets of unclaimed funds. So what the state has and what the county has are separate. So you actually could have unclaimed funds at the county level and also unclaimed funds at the state level. Ours are unclaimed monies that have come through the county at some point in one of the offices and to be retrieved back from there.
Any other questions?
If I may, just a thank you to Kristen, because that Bedford anodizing property that she referred to, we have several council people, former and past, know that since 2000, what was it, 11, Kristen?
Yes.
We've been dealing with that property and finally, after almost a decade, we're finally getting something going with it and having progress. So I can't thank you enough for that. That's awesome stuff. So thank you.
Thank you.
Out of curiosity, where's that property at?
I'm not sure you're on mute, the gentleman that.
Mayor Molnar.
Sorry about that. It's back off of Highland Road. It's kind of tucked away near the railroad tracks, but I think it's on the corner there of, oh, forgive me, the metal company. I can't remember the name of it. But it's a great property and, you know, good to have progress. So that's all the good stuff.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, not hearing any. Christine, I appreciate you coming out and speaking to us. Thank you and good luck.
Thank
All
you.
other candidates, thank you for speaking to us and good luck in your campaign. And Steve, the floor is yours.
Yeah, everyone, please join me in thanking our candidates and good luck. Thank you. We just have a couple of quick things to go over. The candidates are more than welcome to leave if you'd like, or just kind of hang out and see what we want to talk about. It's just a couple announcements. Number one, we did our Macedonia Halloween. It was very successful. Thank John Bosco and Bill Klingenberg and Mayor Molnar for helping me out on that. We thought it was going to be kind of slow because there was 3 or 4 other events going on around town. Well, come to find out, they just hit them all. And I'll tell you what, we had well over 200 cars come through and we gave out well over 500 bags of candy. So, and it was fun seeing all the kids dressed up and just having a good time. So thanks for everyone. We also handed out well over 200 brochures on our club. So hopefully we get some interest and we get some new members. Dave will be advising us soon. It'll probably be sometime in November now when we'll be installing some more storefronts on Safety Town so we can dress that up a little bit. We have a few more being developed and made. And once we get those, we'll start putting those up and make our Safety Town look real nice. Don't forget about February 6th. We have our reverse raffle coming up. So far that's still on and we'll keep you posted on where that's going as far as this virus goes. Next week, we have a regular meeting. It's election day, November 3rd. We're still looking to see who our speakers are going to be, so I'll announce that as we get into next week. Is there anything else that anybody would like to? Oh, and we do have our dictionary project coming up. We just got a commitment from St. Barnabas. They do want to participate in that also. So we are going to be handing out a lot of dictionaries this year. So I'll keep you posted on that. And when they get, I hope to get those ordered this week. So we'll keep moving forward with that. With that being said, is there anything else that anybody would like to add? All right, could everyone join me in our 4-way test? Debbie, could you pull that up for us? Please join me. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Good luck, candidates, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.